Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. We'll root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old ball game.
Is there anything better than that? You can see the Buck O'Neil statue and all the other legends out at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and one of our favorite people in all of the world, Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. I ask you every year what he would think of this, but you said something to me. You said that Buck brought joy out of despair, and in the ups and downs of this world, and the Adam Jones incident in Boston, he'd still be finding positive, wouldn't he?
Of course, he always seemed to find that light in the midst of darkness. And so, yeah, and there is always light in darkness. We just have to seek it. And I know Buck was so able and so beautifully able to do that consistently and constantly. It became a part of who he was, and that spirit is still with us.
And Bob, I want to ask you quickly about today's game and the uniforms that we're going to see these Royals wearing. I know you're excited about this.
Of course, 1942 Kansas City Monarchs. 75 years ago, they won the Negro League World Series. Buck always said it was his favorite team. Hall of Famers Satchel Paige, Hilton Smith, Willard Brown, and then a second tier of guys led by Buck O'Neil, Hank Thompson, Ted Strong, who was Dave Winfield before we ever knew who Dave Winfield was, who led that great team. They swept the powerful Homestead Grays 4 straight. Satchel won 3 of those games.
Well, I know we're excited about today. Maybe they can do exactly what the Monarchs did and win a series here today. And maybe those uniforms, they may want to keep them for a while if that happens. But I know you got a lot going on at the museum.
Yes.
Anything special coming up?
Well, we want you to mark your calendar for Saturday, May 20th is our Jazz and Jackie celebration. We're bringing legendary New York Yankee star Bernie Williams, who's also an accomplished smooth jazz, Latin, Grammy-nominated jazz guitarist, and our very own Julian Vaughn, Kansas City born and raised, but a chart-topping lead bassist in the mode of Wayman Tisdale, celebrating his new CD release Saturday, May 20th, 7:30 p.m. at the Gym Theater.
And then also the Urban Youth Academy, your next door neighbor, right behind you. This thing's moving pretty quickly, isn't it?
It is, and we can be more excited about it. The fact that kids will have an opportunity to fall in love with the game of baseball again, to be nurtured in our sport, and the fact that there is a Negro Leagues Baseball Museum essentially attached to it. So not only will they get a chance to grow in this sport, but they'll have an opportunity to learn about the history and heritage of our game. And of course, our city is so rich in that as the birthplace of the Negro Leagues and the home to the legendary Kansas City Monarchs.
And I know you've had some special visitors. Some Major League players have been coming by. That's got to be, I guess, rewarding for you to have that involvement.
It always is. You know, it never gets old, Monty. Every time we get one of the young athletes by, you know, I think that spirit of Buck, because he got so excited when the ball players came by and he got a chance to show off his museum, and I carry that same thing with me. So every time the young athletes come by, we always are excited. We welcome them, and we love the fact that they're sharing their experiences. So there's no better way to get the message home to other players than have those players talk about what great experience they had at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
This is one of our favorite days of the year, and you see everybody coming out in their Sunday best, dressed to the nines. And I know we've told the story before, but there are folks that'll be watching right now saying, well, why are you doing this? What's going on? Take us back to that day and why people would come dressed up, which, by the way, Bob looks like this every day. I don't, but tell us why.
Well, you know, going back to that era, Major League Baseball primarily didn't play on Sundays. So the Negro Leagues were relegated to playing on Sundays, and so they would play that Sunday doubleheader. Well, Negro Leagues Baseball was so popular that black churches would move their service time up an hour. Now, if any of you all know anything about the black church, you don't mess with service time. But that's how popular the Monarchs were. So Sunday service, traditionally at 11 o'clock, would be moved to 10 o'clock, and everybody left church, filed out, going to that Sunday doubleheader, dressed to the nines. And we brought back that spirit.
Yeah, go ahead, Monty.
You're always dressed like this, like Joel said, but I know that Buck O'Neil, if he could be here and be part of what's going, that would just be an amazing opportunity for him to relish the past from the Negro Leagues.
Of course, I think that's what excited him, is to make that linkage, you know, to see that transition. Buck always talked about the museum, and I love the way that he talked about it, because it's so eloquently, because what he would say is that it's rare in our society that we celebrate the bridge builders. The Negro Leagues Museum celebrates the people who built the bridge, and that created that pathway for others like the Ozzie Smiths and the Dave Winfields to cross over that bridge to have an opportunity to fulfill that dream. And so when we can make these connections with the past and present, it elevates the awareness, but it also keeps the spirit of the Negro Leagues alive.
Well, and maybe people think about that as they cross the Buck O'Neil Bridge here in Kansas City. Bob, thanks as always for coming out, sharing the stories, and making us feel underdressed.
No, guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks to everything that you guys do to help support this great event and the work that you do to support our museum all year long. We appreciate it.